Deep in the asteroid belt, the mining barge Pickaxe, Bertha, lumbered through the void, her holds overflowing with high-yield ore. Without warning, 6 Carve warships shimmered into real space, englobing the industrial vessel in a blade-sharp formation.
This is Warlord Tessuk Vel. Surrender 80% of your cargo and place your ship under my command, or face annihilation.
Captain, their weapon banks are hot. They can turn us to slag before we spool up the drives.
Open a channel. Keep it steady. Warlord Tessuk Vel, we acknowledge your demand. We will require 1 orbital cycle to prepare the compliance paperwork and inventory.
1 cycle. If you deviate or attempt escape, we will reduce your ship to its component atoms.
The view screen went dark, leaving the bridge crew in stunned silence. Hale alone seemed unruffled.
Paperwork, Captain. We don't have compliance paperwork. We're miners.
Exactly. And miners know how to dig. We'll need that cycle. Trust me.
Captain, there is no compliance paperwork. You bought time, but for what? If we don't surrender, they'll vaporize us.
They'll try. But we're going to give them a reason to wish they'd never heard of the Pickaxe Bertha.
The cutting beam. You want to use it as a weapon? That thing draws more power than half our systems combined.
It slices nickel iron like butter. A cruiser is 300 times lighter. Do the math.
Even if it works, we're dead in open space. 6 ships, all armed. This isn't an asteroid.
Not if we kill their flagship first. The rest will scatter. Warlords don't fight without their leader.
You're gambling everything on a single shot. What if we miss? What if their shields hold?
Then our paperwork becomes a eulogy. But no shield is rated for that beam. Get to engineering. Reroute the reactor.
Park moved to engineering, hands steady. The reactor output climbed. Green lights flickered to amber.
They'll see the power surge on scanners. If they suspect, it's over.
Down in engineering, the reactor's hum deepened to a growl as rerouted conduits glowed amber hot. Power bled into the forward capacitor banks.
Captain, cutting beam capacitors at 70%, but the surge is lighting up every passive sensor on the hull.
Keep it going. If they scan, let them see what they expect. A clumsy human ship dumping excess heat.
Human vessel. Your power emissions have tripled. Explain this irregularity immediately.
Standard procedure. Warlord, Belt Consortium regs require a full reactor flush before cargo transfer. Subsection 14.
Do not test my patience, human. If I detect deception, my gunners will not wait for the cycle's end.
Understood. We will accelerate the flush. Hail out.
He's not buying it. The cycle's half gone. We need to finish charging and hope they don't attack first.
Top off the capacitors. Every joule we can pull. When that cycle ends, I want the beam ready to core their flagship.
Your cycle ends in 17 minutes, human. Present your cargo and vessel, or be reduced to a memory.
The bridge countdown hit 0. The comm channel snapped open, crackling with the warlord's impatient breath. Hale's face remained stone.
Your cycle has expired, human. Surrender now, or face annihilation. This is your final warning.
Standing by, Warlord. Transmitting the cargo manifest and transfer protocols. Just one more moment. As per regulation 7.3.
You try my honor with these delays. I will not ask again.
Emily, targeting status. Give me a firing solution on their flagship.
Target lock confirmed. Their shields are down for docking. They don't suspect a thing.
On my mark. Make it count.
Capacitors at full. Captain, all safeties disengaged. Firing solution is locked and solid.
Then, let's remind them why miners don't carry weapons. They bring the mountain with them. And this mountain is about to fall.
The bridge fell utterly silent. Every crew member's gaze fixed on the captain's hand, hovering over a button designed for asteroids. Captain Hale pressed the button. The pickaxe Bertha shuddered from bow to stern as a white-orange lance erupted from her bore array. Inside the Carve flagship, bulkheads turned to silhouettes as an impossible light flooded every corridor.
Warlord, the human vessel has discharged a weapon. Our shields are offline.
Impossible. A mining vessel cannot generate that energy output.
Direct hit, Captain. The beam is slicing straight through their central spine.
On the Carve command deck, alarms screamed as gravity flickered. The ship's spine was already separating.
All hands brace. This is not a weapon. It is a cutter.
From the pickaxe Bertha's bridge, the beam completed its savage arc, leaving a molten gash across the cruiser's entire length.
Not bad for a mining ship.
The Carve flagship, still intact but mortally wounded, began venting atmosphere and debris. Its doom was sealed, but not yet final. With a rending screech transmitted through the hull, the Carve flagship split cleanly into two halves, blue plasma gushing from the wound.
Captain, complete separation confirmed. Secondary explosions in the engineering section. She's coming apart?
In the black of space, fireballs bloomed silently along the torn hull, consuming escape pods and weapon batteries alike. The debris field expanded rapidly.
This is Sub-Commander Vark. The flagship is lost. Repeat, the flagship is lost. Remaining flotilla, break and retreat.
One by one, the Carve warships cut their engines and jumped to slipspace, leaving their burning admiral's ship to die alone in the void.
Damage report. I want to know what they gave us before they ran.
Minimal. Holes scorching on the bow plates. One heat sink overloaded. We're fully operational. I don't believe it.
The Carve flagship, now two distinct wreckages, drifted powerlessly, a testament to a blow that no warship in the battle group had ever expected to face.
They'll be back. Not today, but soon. And next time, they'll bring more than 6 ships. We've just rewritten the rules of engagement.
Far across the sector, Sub-Commander Vark transmitted his after-action report to High Command under a veil of shame.
The human ship bisected our flagship with a mining cutter. It was labeled civilian.
The display lit up with the ungainly vessel. Beneath it, the damning notation, civilian, non-threat.
Explain, Vark, how a civilian ship obliterated our dreadnought. Were our analysts blind?
Tactical archives confirm they are unarmed miners. We never calculated their cutter output.
A claw traced the label, then crumpled the report with a hiss.
If one can do this, how many more hide in their asteroid belts?
The chamber fell silent. The databases held no answer. Commercial registration meant nothing to military intelligence.
Unknown, warlord, thousands of commercial ships, but none assessed for combat.
Then we face a new threat. Miners with cutters that core capital ships. Reclassify them as siege class immediately.
Aboard the pickaxe Bertha, the bridge crew stared at the wreckage on their screens, caught between relief and the cold weight of what they had done.
I ran the numbers, Captain. The beam output was 800 terajoules. The cruiser's mass is 1/400th of a mid-sized asteroid.
So, we hit them with a rock splitter, and they folded. The galaxy will call it a weapon.
But Captain, we just ended a warlord's flagship with a mining tool. Every faction is going to want answers.
Which is why the consortium needs to hear it from us first. Before the Carve spin this into a war crime, Emily, compile the sensor logs, power draws, and engagement summary. I am sending a priority message to Belt Consortium HQ.
What do we even call it? Self-defense? Accidental discharge?
We call it a successful mining operation. The ore we extracted was just, not what they expected.
The message launched, carrying a truth no human authority had ever prepared for. Civilian machinery had become a strategic asset overnight.
Whatever the consortium decides, there's no going back. The galaxy just learned that our plowshares are swords.
At Belt Consortium headquarters, The priority message from Pickaxe Bertha lit up a secure terminal in the executive suite. Chairwoman Margaret Cole was summoned from a budget review by the urgency of the header. Engagement with Carve forces. Ship destroyed.
A mining barge bisected a Carve dreadnought. Confirm the source and pull the fleet manifest.
Cole's personal access code unlocked a classified asset list. The screen populated with a cascade of registration numbers. 1,400 dots appeared on the galactic map, each marking a Belt Consortium barge identical in capability to the Pickaxe Bertha.
Interesting. They're all civilian on every alien war chart. No one's ever considered what a fleet of rock cutters could do.
She closed the dossier and stared at the star map for a long moment. The quiet hum of the headquarters, the only sound.
The board will need to know. But first, I need to understand what this means.
She keyed in a series of queries, pulling economic projections and tactical assessments, her expression unreadable. Within the hour, the Belt Consortium boardroom filled with 12 directors, their faces a mix of confusion and irritation at the emergency summons.
Thank you for arriving promptly. This morning, one of our barges was intercepted by a Carve battle group. The warlord demanded the ship and 80% of its cargo. Captain Robert Hale of the Pickaxe Bertha rerouted reactor power to the forward cutting beam and bisected the Carve flagship.
That's impossible. Those cutters are designed for nickel iron, not military-grade armor.
It cut through their hull like butter. And Director Hayes, we have 1,400 more just like it.
The wall screen flickered to life, displaying a star map dotted with the Belt Consortium's entire fleet.
If the Carve treat this as an act of war, every human colony will be at risk.
But another director's eyes glinted, already calculating the untapped mineral wealth in Carve territory.
We stand at a crossroads. Do we hide this from the galaxy, or do we show them what a mining consortium truly is?
The room erupted. Voices clashed, fear and ambition colliding, and no vote had yet been called.
Quiet. The shouting changes nothing. We need to grasp what actually happened. The Carve believe they were defeated by one rogue mining barge. They do not know we operate 1,400 identical vessels.
1,400? That's a fleet larger than any navy in this sector. We can't hide that.
We already have for decades. Every one of those barges is listed as a civilian mining vessel on every war chart in the galaxy. By accident or design, we have been invisible. No one assessed rock cutters as weapons until today.
If we mobilize them, it's an act of war. The Carve will see 1,000 new enemies.
Or its deterrence. No warlord will ever threaten a human mining operation again if they know the cost.
A silence fell, heavier than the previous shouting. The directors stared at the star map, each dot now a potential dreadnought killer.
This changes everything. We're not just a mining consortium anymore. We're something else.
We are the Belt Consortium, and now we have a choice that will define us. Let each of you consider it carefully.
The room stirred again. Low voices testing positions as directors began to carve out their allegiances.
We should bury this. Claim a sensor malfunction, pay reparations, and never let the Carve know we have more.
Another director slammed the table, arguing that the Carve territory held untold mineral wealth, and hiding was cowardice. A staff legal advisor spoke quietly. Any offensive use of the cutting beam against civilian populations could be prosecuted as a war crime.
Everything we do has precedent. Human history is a ledger of industrial tools repurposed for war.
The directors exchanged glances, unsure if she was justifying aggression or merely stating a fact.
Margaret, you've steered us through crises before. What do you honestly believe we should do?
I believe we examine our options with clear eyes. What if the Carve never knew we have 1,000 cutters?
The words hung in the air, a thread that some wanted to pull. Others feared would unravel into catastrophe. The board stood at the edge of an abyss, and only one woman held the map, but she had not yet chosen to share it. Margaret Cole rose from her chair, the room snapping to attention as her hands pressed flat against the polished table.
I propose a formal motion. The Belt Consortium will expand mining operations into Carve-controlled territory, effective immediately.
A sharp intake of breath swept the room. Some directors leaned back, others forward, as the weight of the proposal settled.
Expand operations. Margaret, that's a declaration of war cloaked in corporate legalese.
It's a business expansion, Director Hayes. We're prospecting for ore, not firing on civilians.
The Kralvi won't see a distinction. They'll see an invasion. We'll have a galactic war fought in the name of mining rights.
They'll see a superior industrial force, and they'll learn to negotiate rather than demand tribute. Deterrence, not aggression.
Hayes shook his head, but another director nodded slowly, then another. The room began to fracture along invisible lines.
The motion is on the table. We will vote at this hour tomorrow. Use the time to consider the alternative, a galaxy that learns we can be threatened with impunity.
As the directors filed out in uneasy clusters, Cole remained seated, her gaze fixed on the fleet map, the weight of tomorrow's vote pulling at the corners of her composure. When the board reconvened, the air was thick with sleepless calculations. Each director had spent the night weighing profit against peril.
The motion is straightforward. All in favor of expanding Belt Consortium mining operations into Kralvi space, indicate now.
One by one, hands rose. 7 ayes, then 5 nays. The screen tally crystallized the division. The vote results dominated the wall screen. Green ayes, red nays. The razor-thin margin cut the room.
This is a historic mistake. We've just authorized a fleet to provoke a superior military power.
The motion carries. The ayes have it. We will begin immediate operational planning.
The gavel never struck. Cole simply nodded, and the board dissolved into murmurs, the decision now irreversible.
Peace through superior firepower. The Kralvi won't understand until they see 1,000 beams light their sky.
Alone in her office, she stared at the fleet manifest again, each dot a weapon that no one had ever counted. The Belt Consortium was no longer just a mining corporation. It was a sleeping giant that had just opened its eyes. Within hours, Margaret Cole's encrypted directive surged through the Belt Consortium network, reaching every operational barge.
Effective immediately. All Belt Consortium vessels are authorized for resource prospecting in Kralvi space. Standard drilling protocols apply.
Aboard the Pickaxe Bertha, Captain Hale stood rigid as the message replayed, the implications sinking into the bridge crew like lead.
They've all gone crazy. A dozen barges with mining lances can't just waltz into alien territory. We'll start a war.
No, they're thinking like miners. The richest deposits are always behind the most dangerous front. And we just learned our pickaxes cut deeper than their swords.
They'll throw everything they have at us. You said it yourself. They'll be back with more ships.
Then we'll meet them with 1,000 beams. This isn't war, Emily. It's a mining operation, and no one tells a miner where he can't dig.
Across the asteroid belt, identical conversations played out aboard 1,000 ships, each captain digesting the new reality. Engine rooms across the belt hummed to life. Reactors were coaxed to full output, cutting beams charged, and navigation systems plotted new courses toward forbidden stars. The Belt Consortium fleet began to move, not as warships, but as miners claiming a new claim, and the Kralvi had no idea the ground was about to crack beneath them. In the Kralvi Deep Space Intelligence Center, a junior analyst stared at her console as a cascade of anomalous contacts flooded the display.
Warlord Tessak Vel, you must see this. Passive listening posts detect 1,000 human mining signatures converging on our frontier.
Impossible. They're miners. No military would deploy its industrial fleet so openly unless they were either fools
Or they know we cannot stop them all. Each ship is now classified as siege capable. We have only 200 warships.
A tactical display brought up the human vessel profiles, each one still tagged civilian, non-threat, a lie now burning in their claws.
Then, we do not engage them head-on. Issue a fleet-wide order. Intercept and identify, but avoid combat. Do not give them a reason to fire.
And if they fire anyway, Warlord, one ship already split our flagship. 1,000 could burn our homeworld from orbit.
Then, We make sure they never find a target worth striking. Evacuate our forward bases. Let them see only empty rock.
Across the Carve Council, silence fell as the orders went out, surrendering territory without a shot, because the cost of testing that many cutters was unthinkable.
They are not warriors. They are miners. And we are about to find out that the difference is only a matter of scale.
The first human barges ghosted across the border into Carve space, their transponders squawking Belt Consortium commercial codes.
Nice and easy. We're just prospectors, scratching a new rock. Nothing they haven't tolerated before.
Unknown human vessels, you have entered sovereign Carve territory. Cut your engines and prepare for inspection.
This is Captain Hale, Pickaxe Bertha. We are exercising Belt Consortium rights of passage for resource prospecting, as per the Accord of Mutual Commerce.
Rights of passage? You have no treaty with the Carve Ascendancy. This is an incursion.
We're conducting geological surveys of unclaimed asteroids. Our records show this region was never formally annexed. Are we mistaken?
Silence stretched across the comms. On the Carve patrol ship, a gunner's claw hovered over the trigger, but no order came.
One shot from a cutter eviscerated our flagship. What would 100 do? Command said, avoid combat.
The patrol ship's weapons remained cold. After a long, wired moment, the Carve commander transmitted a tight beam clearance, then turned his ship away.
They know the math. Let's keep moving. There's a lot of rock to prospect.
The Pickaxe Bertha closed on a Carve logistic depot carved into an asteroid, its fracture lines already mapped for efficient extraction.
Human vessel, you are violating restricted military space. Withdraw or be destroyed.
Negative. We are conducting a scheduled prospecting operation. Stand clear. Core sampling begins now.
The Bohr array lit up. 8 emitters, converging into a single white-orange column that struck the asteroid's equator with industrial precision. The depot split cleanly along the seam, atmosphere venting in silent plumes. Personnel pods ejected into the black as the two halves drifted apart.
You destroyed an armed installation. This will be met with full retaliation.
A mining accident. The substrate was unstable. We'll file a full report with the consortium's safety board.
In her office, Margaret Cole watched the live feed, tallying the day's operations. 12 depots neutralized, 0 human casualties, and a galaxy waking up to a new industrial reality.
They mocked a mining ship once. Now they're learning that our accidents are more dangerous than their wars.
Within hours, footage of a bisected asteroid base blazed across every news channel, human and alien. The silent evidence that miners had carved a new chapter without firing a single shot of war. Inside the Carve High Council chamber, the bisected depot played on a loop, a silent accusation against every warlord seated at the obsidian table.
The Belt Consortium operates 1,400 of these vessels. Everyone is siege class. Our analyst confirmed it before she collapsed from exhaustion.
We possess 200 warships, many still damaged from the first engagement. Even a suicidal stand would only waste our fleet.
Then we will not fight them. Issue a directive to all forces in contested zones. Stand down. No one is to fire on a human mining vessel. Any captain who breaks this order will be disavowed and their clans stripped of honor. This is not cowardice. It is survival.
A murmur of protest rippled through the council. But one by one, the warlords bowed their heads, the weight of mathematics bone-crushing.
I was the first to face their cutter. I saw a tool designed to crack planets, slice through our finest warship like shale. They do not see us as enemies. They see us as ore, and ore does not negotiate with miners.
The orders went out, racing along military networks to every Carve outpost and patrol. Weapons cold, engines hot. Retreat, but do not engage.
They are not warriors. They are miners. and we will never mock their ships again.
On Earth, news feeds splintered into dueling banners. Humanity's Iron Fist versus Mining Cup or Mining Conquest.
We are not soldiers, we are miners. What happened in Carve space was an industrial accident during a prospecting operation. The Belt Consortium is expanding mineral rights to ensure our future needs. Any talk of war is outside calamity.
Reporters fired questions about fleet sizes, beam outputs, and rules of engagement. Cole deflected each with the same phrase. It is mining.
Let them argue semantics. The galaxy saw a dreadnought carved like a holiday roast. Facts don't need spin.
Across the colonies, families gathered in front of holographic projectors, watching the footage of a mining beam split an asteroid base like a log. A child asked if the miners were heroes. A mother had no answer. The silence between channels was the loudest signal yet.
We haven't started a war. We've started a fact. The galaxy now knows that our industry is our arsenal.
Pundits debated, generals cursed, and ambassadors scrambled. But in the end, no government dared to sanction a corporation with 1,000 world crackers. Margaret Cole watched the numbers tick upward on her investment portfolio. But the only figure she cared about was the 0 human casualties. On the Carve homeworld, night fell over the capital as a new star bloomed in orbit. A mining barge's beam flaring against a moon, Tesok Vel stood on a high balcony, stripped of command, watching the light carve a new crater into the satellite.
They call it prospecting.
The beam did not stop. It moved in slow, methodical lines, reducing the moon's crust to manageable blocks of ore. No warship challenged it. No alarm sounded. The Carve defenses had learned to look away from miners.
They do not invade. They extract. And my people will watch this moon disappear, one crater at a time.
In the streets below, Carve citizens paused in their routines, looking upward not with hatred, but with a silent, spreading dread. The mining barge continued its work, indifferent to the empire it had shattered without once declaring war.
We mocked them once. Now they are carving our sky into profit, and there is nothing we can do.
The beam pulsed once more, and a chunk of moon drifted away. Another contract fulfilled, another deposit secured, forever. Across 100 systems, Belt Consortium barges now move unchallenged, their cutting beams a quiet constant in the void. The line between industry and warfare has dissolved into a single truth. A mining laser is a siege weapon, and everyone knows it now. No alien fleet dares to cross what was once called a civilian mining operation. The threat is too great. The galaxy's war charts are being redrawn, not by admirals, but by corporate supply chain managers with quarterly profit targets. At the center of it all, a battered mining barge named Pickaxe Bertha still drills, indifferent to the empire it broke. They mocked Earth's mining ship. They laughed at its rust-streaked hull and its lack of weapon ports. Then they watched it, carve through their titan like soft ore. Now, 1,000 beams light the darkness, and no one is laughing. They never will again.